and gentlemen, we back.
Yeah, baby. Week 2. Week
What it
2
do,
is
Scooby?
season 5. And
How,
Acid to the left of me was good, baby.
how you feeling, dog?
I'm chilling, dog.
All right,
Chilling.
Jonesy, 2 times to the right of me.
Facts. Y'all know what time it is, man. Another week. We live. We appreciate you fucking with us. You know what I mean? Because, we know everybody got lives and everything like that, but we appreciate y'all, tapping in, getting this going on, and all of that.
Your phone's getting blown up right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what it is. I can't focus right now. I can't focus. I can't focus. I can't focus, but now I'm back. I'm back. But yeah, baby, it's another week. Like I said, man, it's the Jones Hour. We live. It's like we need to do reintroduction. It's Acid. It's the one and only Jonesy 2 times. Dos veces. We here. We gonna talk that New York sports shit, that all sports shit, that fly music shit, the rest of the other shit, and that's why you need to fuck with us and tune in. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because
sir.
we only keeps it official. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir.
if we go into the NFL, give me a drop right now. I need some applause or something. Thank you, because I went 6-0 last week. All 6 of the games that I told who was gonna be the winner, all of them won. Now this week, not so much because I said Bills Rams in the Super Bowl, and boy, we had a doozy last night. Did you see the game? Did you see
That
the
was my
game?
doozy sound.
Yeah, I
No, I
like
didn't
it.
get to watch the game. I saw some fucking some clips of it though.
I thought Stone Cold was gonna come after that, but that's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, man, it was a fire game. Went to overtime, all of that. You know what I mean? Back and forth. Bills started slow. Broncos came on strong. Bills made the comeback. Uh ties the game at the end with 5 seconds left with a field goal. Going to overtime. Both teams get a stop, but when Denver gets it back, two questionable pass interference on the same drive called, and that basically gave the game to Denver right there. That last one was
hmm
at the 2-yard line. And it's a shame that we got to keep on going through this, especially in the NFL, where we see these referees kind of dictate the outcomes of these games, because it's like you kind of got to leave something on the field, got to let some things go. You know what I mean? And maybe the first one was the right call, but that second one was um not PI to me.
hmm
And some people might see it the other way around. You know what I mean? But both of those, and because of that, it makes it kind of questionable. You know what I mean? And you gotta try to let the players decide the game. Not the referees. Because when you let the
Yeah.
referees decide the game, you know what it looks like? It looks like it's gambling. It looks like you have these so-called fixes in for games to be played that way. You know what I mean? Or go a
Yeah.
certain way.
Yeah. I
and
hear what you're
and
saying.
and that's why people question some things with the NFL. When you allow these things to happen and not allow the players to determine the outcome. And you're already into overtime. Like it was such a good game, and we had nothing but good games. That first round,
Yeah.
that first round of NFL playoffs, I think to me might have been the best that we could see. You know what I mean? Because
Honestly, I don't remember the last time that the fucking what is it? The Seahawks and then who else? And the Broncos advanced this far together. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
don't remember the last time that happened.
yeah, because I mean the Buffalo Jacksonville game was fire, back and forth. You know what I
hmm
mean? We got to cover that last week along with the Chargers and New England, which we said was kind of dominating, but it was still a good game. But then after that, um and then that Rams Carolina game was big. You know, Carolina back and forth. You know, up until the end as well. The Bears fucking Green Bay game. You know, Caleb Williams does it again. You know, last minute drive for a touchdown win. San Fran with the shocker. You know, and even though it didn't end in a last minute drive touchdown, like Philadelphia had that opportunity. You know what I mean? Down, I believe, like 4 or 5 points. You know, 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. You got the ball. You got some timeouts, I think. Or maybe you had no timeouts, but you still had at least a 2-minute warning on your side, and you as well are trying to get that game winning drive. You know, and you just
Yeah.
you just fell short, just fell a little short. But that's what we seen in those games. You know, and and it was another real good game. Yesterday, the other game was
I can't complain.
Seattle and San Fran. I know you were a Seattle guy. You know what I mean? So I know you was rooting for them.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be hard to beat, especially as a number one seed. Like going into Seattle, that stadium was fucking crazy yesterday.
They fucking crushed.
Yo,
41-6 is
yeah.
crushed.
But that shit went crazy yesterday. Like it was like deafening. Like you couldn't even hear the whistle. You know what I mean? Like it was so fucking loud. Like
that's not right.
But that was the shock feeling that that San Fran felt going into that stadium.
Yeah.
Because it was all over for them. But we also seen yesterday, we heard today that Bo Nix has a broken bone in his ankle. He's out for the rest of the playoffs for Denver.
Oh shit.
So, you know, after that big win, and it was on one of those last plays of the game that it occurred. You know, so when he limped off and whatnot, like he's definitely done. You know, so that's going to be big. A big advantage for the winner of the game today between Houston and New England, you know, which I think this is going to be a low scoring game. As can we just go into a little preview right now of the last 2 remaining games?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Our last 2 remaining games that we have on the board are the Texans Pats and Rams and Bears.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it in the AFC. Since we were talking about Denver, we'll start with Houston. Yeah, Houston and the Pats. And
let's start with the AFC. All right, cool.
Yeah, AFC. And this gonna be a good game, I think. You know what I mean? I think, you know, New England has a clear advantage, especially with Houston not already being a question mark on offense and now losing Nico Collins for this game, who's, you know, their best wide receiver. They're going to need some sort of miracle on the defensive side to really carry them along. You know what I mean? Kind of how they did last week with the defense, even that Pittsburgh-Houston game. It got at the end, you know, like the score probably didn't really indicate how close the game was, but them first 3 quarters were all valid football. You know what I mean? Like real good back and forth. You don't know who's going to win. You know what I mean? Except for, you know, until the end, you know, again, fourth quarter, some drops. We had actually, before we get into that, man, we had a lot of drops in the games so far in these playoffs. You know, there's been a lot of pressure and fumbles and all of that. You know what I mean? That shows you how intense these games are and how close and evenly matched these teams been. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Throughout the playoffs. But as we see, you know, Houston got a real good defense. But the thing is like New England does too. You know what I mean? They're up to par with them. They're like on their level when it comes to, you know, the defensive side of the ball. And Drake May, who we've seen as an MVP so far, you know, he's going to be tested. I mean, you know, it's going to be better for them that they're in New England. So, you know, maybe some of that pressure minimizes, you know, being at home and whatnot. But New England had a soft season this year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They had a real soft schedule to get to that record that they have. And not to take nothing from them because, you know, you still got to win the games and whatnot. But this game right here is going to be their toughest opponent so far, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? And the pressure and the headaches that they could do with Drake that could be caused against Drake May. And not for nothing, like even in Brady's prime, we've seen the teams that was able to get pressure onto him that caused him to make mistakes. You know what I mean? And teams were
Yeah.
able to capitalize on that. And I think we might see that today in from Drake May in New England. I'm picking New England. I mean, I'm not picking New England. I'm picking Houston to win. As a fan in me, you know what I mean. But if I have to bet money on like um, a spread or something like that, I would pick New England for that.
Just over the money factor.
Yeah, but like as a fan, I'm rooting for the Texans right now.
Yeah.
I like their team. I like
No,
their
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I like their team.
Like,
You know what I mean? I like their head coach D'Amico Ryans. I like what he's done. Will Anderson Jr. I believe is on their team. They got some hitters, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's gonna be, like I said, I was expected to be a low scoring game. It's probably gonna be cold in Boston. You know what I mean? In New England. So it's gonna be the team that makes the least amount of mistakes that wins. You know what I mean? Like if Houston or New England, for that matter, could capitalize on field position opportunities throughout the game, as opposed to like not turning the ball, as opposed to turnovers. You know what I mean? Because
mhm.
if you make the least amount of mistakes and you go 3-and-out, or maybe you get a first down and now you're able to pin them back or whatever it is and flip the field now or whatever, you know, make it easier to get points. Field goals are going to be a factor depending on the wind, because wind always plays a factor, especially, late in the season in these cold winter games, so comes harder to find points. You know what I mean? So you got to get it and take those opportunities. And we've seen a lot more teams now, especially in the NFL, go for it on fourth down. Like this is a new thing, like punting. Usually, you don't get it as a punt. Like it always makes sense to do that, but now that doesn't really happen so much. You got teams going in for fourth down more and whatnot. And there's going to be a good battle, it's even with the coaches, between Vrabel on the New England side and Ryan's on the Houston side. Like I really expect this to be a really good game, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it to start. The other game is the Rams and the Bears. You know,
Mhm.
and
Who do you got winning that?
I can't even call it, to be honest. I really can't even call it. Like,
I'm going the Bears.
yeah, like the Rams is who I pick, so I'll probably just stick with my pick and whatnot,
Mhm.
because at least if I'm half right, that I wasn't really wrong, right? And you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
because you get it, we have the breakdown.
yeah.
But um yeah, so I'll probably go for them, but like game in and game out, this Chicago Bears team, um, led by Caleb Williams, led by their players on both sides of the ball, um, you know, led by their coach Ben Johnson. They're never out of it. They was down 21 last week against Green Bay. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And won. So like there's nothing they can't get past, at home. And there's gonna be another home game. That's another thing that they're gonna have an advantage of too, having another home game. You know, they'll test to be if Seattle wins or not, but they 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 got a home game, so
Mhm.
that crowd is gonna go crazy. We know how people, how loyal fans are in Chicago and whatnot, how long they've waited for this moment since like '85 of or like fucking some Rex Grossman and fucking who's this other dude? Jay Cutler days. You know what I mean? Those are
Yeah,
the days
yeah.
I was like, kind of like, okay, they haven't had that in a while, hitting and missing, not even just constantly missing on the quarterback, but it looks like now they finally got it with Caleb Williams, and,
Yeah.
and you can see where it is, based on where they're at right now. A divisional home game against the Rams, but on the opposite side of that, you have Matthew Stafford,
Hmm.
someone that's already won a Super Bowl, somebody that's, been through and seen just about everything in play scheme and formation and lineups that could possibly be out there in football. You know what I mean? Like a veteran, a leader. Last week he was one of those game-winning drives. You know what I mean? Let's be real. Carolina, did their thing and shocked and was ahead at the end of the game, but Stafford knew, and that team is behind him. Besides, having fucking Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, two of arguably top 15 minute. No way less than that you could say Devontae Adams is less than a 15th ranked wide receiver right now in the game. Like him and Nacua is definitely maybe even top 10. We know Nacua is already there by the numbers, and Devontae Adams is him. So and they got Kyron Williams. They got a lot of weapons. With Stafford, and
Hmm.
I I think the cold is also going to be a factor though. Because Chicago is motherfucking cold. We went through that last week when I explained it. So it's like, let's be real, like that shit is gonna have a factor. And where those people that them players in Chicago, they used to that. LA don't feel like Chicago at any time. You know what I mean? There's
Nope.
never been a time.
No.
Like maybe a weird spring day where it's fucking 75 over here, like 70 over there, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Where
Very,
it's like just
very
weird
opposite
like that.
vibes.
Yeah, yeah. But normally, we know what it is, and we're gonna see that. So I think if the Rams could deal with the cold, they'll win the game. But if not,
Mm.
then the Bears could shock the world. I mean, even though they're the number two, they are the number two seed, but like playoff football, it's a different thing. And we see this throughout sports with the playoffs bring the atmosphere, the pressure, the winner go home. Where it's like they're like if you lose, that's it. You know what I mean? You're not in it. You're done. So like
Hmm.
that shit has an effect on people. That shit has some people to rise to the occasion, and some people frail up and curl up in the
In the
same
moment,
situation. Yeah, in the moment. Good looks. So I like that.
I'm wise.
Beyond your years. They say if you got mad grades, you mad wise. You know what I mean? So I guess my wisdom speaks for itself. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go.
I ain't gotta say nothing. Don't make no.
Yeah.
You got a little glimpse. I don't know if you saw it, but maybe you did. You know what I mean?
Some chicken noodle soup for the soul right there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I got that. I got that. I got that real deep soul shit. You know what I mean? Old school shit. Old school shit. So I mean, so we're gonna see the game. Game start in like a half, like 40 minutes or so. First games. So I mean the two games today. The night game Rams, and then the afternoon game is gonna be Patriots and Houston. So hopefully I can't not seeing it being just as good as the rest of the games. You know what I mean? I would say only that New England Chargers game was not really um it was the only game that there was like a blowout. Like it was like and what we saw last night, the 41-6 and whatnot. But like up until that point, like every game has been crazy. What we saw yesterday, 41-6. But every other game has been crazy. Like real good football. Like NFL gotta
Plus,
be fucking the most happiest fucking people there is right now. You know what I mean?
just sitting there like, yes.
Facts. Facts. So what should we get into the Knicks now? Should we get into Knicks and Doms?
Yeah, you want to get into some Knicks and Dimes?
Yeah, man, we talked enough about the NFL, man. We see what happens to the games.
Knicks and Dimes. All
One
right,
more thing
bro.
before we get into we'll go back to it. We'll just go into the Knicks and Doms. We're saying the Knicks
No,
and Doms.
no, no. We Gucci. Don't even. Oh, all right. So what do you want to get into then?
No, we have one more thing to get into the NFL.
All right, talk to us.
Fucking Giants got Harbaugh as the coach.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that looks like a step in the right direction of the leadership that we need. You know what I mean? Like so many other times when the top coaches have been available to out there and the Giants need one, you know, it's never been an ideal place to come. You know,
Hmm.
and that's why we would never really land any of these top coaches when they became available. But you know, once Harbaugh became available, I think it was like we need him more than any other of the candidates there. You know what I mean? To bring the structure we need for the talent that we have. You know what I mean? And I see it as a real good move. I see it as a real good move. And he also takes, you know, there was a clause in his contract that says that he doesn't answer to Joe Shane, who's our GM, and will be answering right now strictly to ownership, which is like Mara and Tish. You know what I mean? So like, you know, that's good. You know what I mean? Because you know it shows that you know Shane probably is not going to last unless he could show that um, he could work with Harbaugh. You know what I mean? He also
Yeah.
might, you know, stay with the Giants in another role because there was some um, um, new technology that he introduced to the team, especially with like on the analytics side that we've seen. So I could see that as being something that they want to continue to um, work with or let him lead possibly. So maybe he doesn't necessarily leave the Giants organization if a new GM comes in, but he's definitely going to have to prove himself when it comes down to it. You know what I mean?
Hey, man. Fucking. We talked about this last week. You know,
Right.
fucking. We want a culture changer. You know, that's what
Mm-hmm.
we needed. That's the number one thing. We needed a culture changer. It's not just being a good coach. It's literally being one of the better leaders and like people to not even just set this year, but set the next 5 years in play. You know, the next
Mm-hmm.
10 years in play. Hopefully,
Right.
you know. So I mean, I'm happy. Let's knock on some wood right now. Pause,
I got you.
my guy.
Right. So we need to yeah, so we need to see what that looks not what it looks like. We already see what it looks like, but what big things we could hope for. You know what I mean? It's good that we got him now before the draft. Start looking into certain things that is there. Again, I went over it last week and what we need, but definitely need a wide receiver, a DB, and some linemen on both sides. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with linemen, but I mean, you know, like a cornerback or a safety is big, and obviously a wide receiver is big. Um, we do have the fifth pick. I think we could hit on one of those two positions with that pick, and I hope as long as they take that with one of those first picks, that is going to be a guaranteed starter, whether it's a wide receiver or a cornerback. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're a happy camper.
Yeah, because ideally, ideally we wanted the first pick. You know what I mean? We wanted the first pick and we wanted
Yeah.
to kind of lose, you know, because as we see the Raiders there with the first pick, you know, they need a quarterback. So like this kid Mendoza, who we'll see Monday night in the national championship when Indiana plays Miami. But you know, okay, yeah, because they finished the job. They went completely undefeated. He won the Heisman. You know what I mean? Now, you know, can he get it done? You know, but we'll see that on Monday. But so all eyes will be on him. But doing all of that, is why he's the consensus number one pick for a team that would need a quarterback, and that's what we see here with the Raiders in Vegas. But if the Giants was able to get that pick, they would be able to trade down to somebody else. So now
Mm.
say somebody like the Jets, for example, that have the third pick. You know what I mean? Now the Jets probably would have been like, I'll give you my third pick and another pick or two for that first round pick, so I could get my quarterback. And you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, because now you have the third pick, the fifth pick, and then another pick. You know what I mean? Possibly. And now those holes that you have, like said, between cornerback and wide receiver and like overall O lineman, we could always have O lineman, even though they played real good this year, in comparison to the other years. And when Andrew Thomas is healthy, it shows the effects of what he could do and the rest of the line and the time that it could give our quarterbacks to make plays this year. We've seen that, even though our record doesn't really show that too much, but we have seen our offensive line be able to give our quarterback time to make plays and our players get open, So, but you could always get one of those too. You know what I mean? So imagine you would have 3 first round picks, get a wide receiver, get a fucking cornerback, and get an all lineman, and then hit on all 3 of those picks. You know what I mean? Where they're actual starters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what it comes down to when they're in the draft. You know what I mean? Taking a chance to actually hit to find a starter, a player that's going to be on your team, that's going to get quality burn into to put in work, basically, to be able
Yeah.
to, give you what you need to win, All right, so now we could go into Knicks and Dimes, but that's it for the Giants.
Oh, Nicks and dimes. All right.
Brought
I,
to you
I feel
by
better now.
brought to you by us, 2 ugly motherfuckers from Queens. You already know.
All right. How do you want to start it, bro? How do you want to start it?
Um, Wait, can you? Is there a way you could bring up a visual of the scores of our last whatever couple of games?
Um. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let's talk about. I'll talk a bit. Well, Brunson got hurt. We could start there. Got an ankle injury. You know what I mean? I don't know what the timetable is going to be on that. We've lost multiple games in a row, or have been on like a losing type of skit. You know what I mean? I don't know if what we've seen before starting the season is going to be good enough in terms of Mike Woodson's views of what it's going to be for us to be contenders in this league. Um, we haven't seen much on the defensive side. Um, you can't think you're going to score 130, 140 every game and act like you're going to win. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just because you think you could do that doesn't mean like teams are going to just allow you to do that. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah. Totally.
when they start playing defense and now they're holding you to 112, like you got to play defense too. You can't be giving up 120 when that happens. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you got to keep them now at 108. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? And we're not seeing that intensity that we once seen. Carl Anthony Towns, I don't know. Sometimes, Josh Hart does continue to be the heart of the team, but also sometimes he does. Sometimes I think they're all just trying to do too much. I
Hmm.
think that's what it is. Like we're not seeing no fluidity, or oh, what's the fucking word? When continuity. You know what I mean? Like we're not seeing that in the play of the Knicks right now. You know what I mean? Let me bring up the scores. Don't even worry about it.
I got it, dog.
But they don't. They're not. They've dropped in the standings in terms of they dropped in the standings in terms of where they were as the 2 seed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Now they're just only 2.5 games above the play-in, I think. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So we just lose to the Warriors. We beat the Trailblazers. But we lose to the Suns. We lose to the Kings. We lose to the Suns again. Um, Tomorrow we're gonna play Minnesota. I mean, no, we're gonna play the Mavericks,
Mhm.
right? That's on MLK Day, so that'll be a home game. But like, who knows? Who knows what team will show up right now? Um, like, and I understand it is a road trip. It is the West Coast, um, and because of that, like, it does take a toll on the team, being on the other side, the time difference, all of that, and everything like that. But again, and then again, it's like it's not an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, so what that you was in Golden State and in Portland and all of these places and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like you still got to perform. You know what I mean? Like if I'm looking at the standings right now, we're 25-17. The Cavs is 24-19. You know what I
Yep.
mean? We're a game and a half above them. The Sixers is 22-18. We're only 2 games above them. They're the 7th seed. You know what I mean? So it's real tight. And in our last 10 games, we're 2-8. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the last 10 games, Celtics is 7-3. They jumped ahead of us. You know?
Yep.
So like, and not for nothing, Jalen Brown on Boston, he's looking like the MVP right now. He's looking like the MVP. Yeah, as we can see the standings right here, like, you know, we was right behind. We was ahead of Boston. We was only maybe
No,
two.
I mean we were, but we technically, I mean, we were tied, you know.
Mhm. No, we was ahead of Boston before that. You know what I mean? I'm saying about maybe like 2 weeks ago, we was ahead of Boston, maybe only 4 games behind Detroit, having that game against them, and they beat us. You know what I mean? To make it like 4 games or 5 games. This was not too long ago, and
Yep.
now we're we're slipping.
Yep.
This hold that we had where it was like kind of like us in Detroit, that we're battling more for Detroit while the rest of the league is battling them the rest of the spots. You know what I mean? Is now like we're in the mix.
Mhm.
We're not solidified as the second best team in the East no more. You know what I
No.
mean? We have question marks, and we have things that need to be answered and whatnot.
Lots.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
lots.
yeah, man, and it's not looking good in terms of what we can be or what we want to be, especially um the expectations that we have now based off of our previous season. You know what I mean? And not for nothing, like, you know, may, Tibbs always had them playing defense at the least. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It was a shock. It wasn't that often that teams scored over 100 against us. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
like that was a normal thing, not giving up 120 on a regular night. I'm seeing these scores that we just showed up. We losing 123 to 112. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you look at these scores, 120 to 108. You know what I mean? We giving up a buck 20 a game. Like nobody's playing defense. There's no sense of urgency at all in on the defensive side of the ball. Look at it. Look at that. 126, 113 we lose. 112, 101. 112, 107. 106, 99. You know what I mean? Like some of those scores I could see, like, you know what? Oh, I can't even see the other side. But like like we're not guarding nobody. We're not stopping nobody. That's what
Yeah.
it looks like to me. That's what I see. I see. Oh, we're not doing enough to win these games. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's why we're falling off. And
Yeah, no, our
hopefully
defense fell off a cliff.
hopefully we could get it. Hopefully we see a change soon. Hopefully we could see that the Knicks start changing some of their habits and or God forbid Woodson loses the team. We don't want that now. You know what I mean? We don't want that middle of the season of what we're looking to be, our best opportunity to be in the fucking finals. You know what I mean? Because that's what we have right now. This is our best opportunity in since '95 to be in
Yeah.
the finals. You know what I mean?
Fucking name.
Or maybe when we first got Melo and Amari. You know what I mean? But it was like it was still prime LeBron in them. You know what I mean? So there was no doubt really that a LeBron led team was going to the finals at that time.
And I
But
mean,
like,
I
kind of like a Jordan
personally,
team.
I'm not. My biggest question is, what is wrong with this guy? What's wrong with him?
I don't know, man. I mean, we knew he was soft, man. We knew he was soft.
But he fell off a fucking cliff. You know?
Hmm.
Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong?
No,
Like
no,
he
no,
was,
no. That's what it looks like. He looks like a completely different player. Looks like a
you
completely
know.
different player
And
from what we've
is
seen.
this just this just trade talks? Like what the like where is this coming from?
Well,
You know?
if there's a trade talk involving him for but being still replaced by another power forward, I'm up for it at this point.
I mean,
I'm
we've
up to
already
get for,
had that. We've already had this convo though. We've
yeah.
already had this convo. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. So
I'd give
yeah.
him up
So
for Giannis in a
oh,
heartbeat.
without a doubt. Should I give him up for other players too? I'll take a
Hmm.
Sabonis. I'll take a let me see some of the nicer power forwards. If it was Denver, I'd take him for an Aaron Gordon package. You know what I mean? If it was another team, like you start naming teams in their power forward, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. You know what I mean? We start just flip flopping. You know, if AD wasn't so soft, I'd do that. You know, AD's another softy though. You know what I mean? So it's like you're gonna make a trade for a player that's not even gonna play. You know, so that shit don't even make no sense. You know, but maybe
No, it does not.
well, yeah. So we're gonna might have to start seeing what the Knicks look like without him on the bench, without him on the court. You know what I mean? Because and let's get Mitch back in. Let's stop fucking holding Mitch's hand already. You know what I mean? Let's let this guy
No,
play more than 20 minutes and back to
let
back
him
games
let him
already.
let him go beast mode,
We
bro.
need that.
Let him
Yeah, we
let him
need
go
that,
beast
man.
mode.
He's a clear like he's just such a problem. That's it. Every time on the court, he's a problem on both sides of the ball, no matter what it is. Offense, defense, inbounds, half court, it don't even matter. Whatever facet of the game, both sides of it, he makes a difference and is able to create a lot of things. You know, mismatches and fast breaks and all too bad shots. You know what I mean? And second opportunities. Like this is all the shit that he does on a daily. I don't know if it's daily, but on a playing basis. On a playing basis, every time he plays, he do that. Like
Hmm.
we need him, you know, and we need Brunson to stop dribbling so damn much. You know what I mean?
What's going on with Deuce?
I don't know.
Just another question. Did Deuce have a good game last night?
I didn't see the game last night. I was watching. I was too much into the football last night. I didn't see the basketball.
I don't know. I think we have so many pieces on this team, you know, that even having Cat play Boo Boo. I listen. I know. I just don't like us being in a position where when Brunson gets hurt, we're fucked. You know,
Mm-hmm.
look, I don't want us to be in that position, especially when we have so many guards on this team. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so many
Yeah,
like
this
actually
is
good, talented fucking guards. You know,
yeah.
it's
This is
proven.
when we. But you know what? Like this is when we need to see that. You see, in the Tibbs system, because the playing time is so valuable, you know, the next man up really gets the opportunity. You know what I mean? Because there's playing so much minutes and there's such a small rotation that if someone gets hurt and now someone else got to be put into this rotation or two players for that matter, where they're now splitting that one player's minutes now, you know what I'm saying? Like this is how you're gonna fill in that role and it becomes a little bit more clearer when it happens. You know what I'm saying? But in this
Mhm.
rotation with Woodson going 11 deep right now, even with Brunson being out, like you said, like that's why we need to see more Kolick and Clarkson and McBride and Bridges. Like those four should still be able to carry and put out this and make up for whatever numbers Brunson. I mean, whatever numbers you're not getting from Brunson because of the injury. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like
No, absolutely, 100%.
you know what I mean? Like get it together. Like why wouldn't you be able to do this? You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully,
And
I
it's
would
not.
say,
And the funny part is that you would think that like we would be, especially since everyone has thrown his name in the conversation for defensive liabilities, that we would get like worse, like I mean better defensively while he wasn't here, but that's not the fucking case. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't think that's the case for us. I think that's systemic when it comes down to the Knicks. You know,
hmm
because
Let's.
a lot of people throw that out there, like as if Brunson is the main, is the contributor to us giving 130 points a fucking night. You know?
hmm Well, I mean, his defense, he can't really play defense. That's
No,
why.
size,
Yeah,
obviously,
his
but
size. You know what I mean? But like,
but
you still got to make up for that. Like, this is why I'm saying the fluidity and the continuity, we're not seeing that. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of look a little lost on the offensive side of the ball with them um uh struggling and kind of like to find shots or make plays and whatnot. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And it's because of the amount of dribbling that people are doing and not enough movement. You know what I mean? Like, you need to utilize these players like Clarkson, like McBride, like Bridges and whatnot to allow Bridges to play off of them, um, but creating scoring opportunities for Brunson without the ball. That's what it
yeah,
is. You know what I mean? So you need one of those other guys that I said to bring up the ball and call the play. You know what I mean? And you need your other players to like get moves and set picks for Brunson to now receive the ball on the wing or something like that with a mismatch. You know what I
mhm,
mean? An example of him now being guarded by like a big man like Steven Adams or something like that. Not trying to play Steven Adams, but like quick footwork wise, if he's out there on an island trying to guard him, like Brunson should easily be able to drive right by him. Not saying he wouldn't be able to recover or be able to block that, but like that's what we should be trying to do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
On offense. You know what I mean? And I think if we're gonna play through Brun and we should be able to try to do the same thing for Karl Anthony Towns too. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Clearly, unless he receives the ball at the 3-point line, like in transition, like that's another thing. Like, I don't feel like we're running the way we used to. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Not taking the right opportunities to run. Um, and like when you're running and like that, that's when you get those trail threes like that. Like, you push up the ball. Excuse me. Damn. Pardon me on that.
no,
But
you're
you
good.
push up the ball and like then you hold it back and then you got your shooter trailing the play and then you pitch it off to them and they're catching it in motion and putting it up. You know what I mean? That's more
Mhm,
of Cat's game. You know what I mean? Being able to do that, but he still needs to be able to get to scoring opportunities and take advantage uh, of of players with his offensive ability. You know what I mean? Like things that we saw last year that made him an all-star, made him an all NBA players, and like where he's lacking that this year. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we need to try to get back into the flow of, because we are a talented team. You know what I mean? And when we look at the West in comparison to the East is really wide open. I mean, I don't want to say it's wide open trying to like play any of these teams and whatnot, but the reality is like only Boston and Detroit right now are teams that I would consider are real opponents for us. You know what I mean? And granted, being in the third seed right now, you would have to beat one of them as opposed to being in the one seed where I mean, being at the 3 seed right now, you would have to beat both of them to get to the finals, as opposed to like a team like the Pistons who would only have to beat the winner of that. You know what I mean? And the way the standings is set up, because one plays 8 but 4 plays 5, and one will play the winner of that game. But the 2 and the 3 playing the 6 and 7, the winners of those 2 games play each other. So you usually see 2 versus 3. You know what I'm saying? And then 1 versus a 4 or 5 seed. You know what I'm saying? If the favorites win. You know what I mean? So That's the difference right now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of important that the Knicks get to the number 1 seed. And as of right now, like we said, they're 25 and 17, right? 25 and 16 puts it at, which was before yesterday's game. They're 25 and 16. That puts us at 41 games. Exactly the halfway point of the NBA season, 82 games. You know, so with yesterday's loss now is 42 games that we've played. So now we got 40 games to make it up though. You know what I mean? We got 40 games to get it together. You know, barring injuries, you know, we can't get away from that. All we got to do is, you know, try to play through that and hopefully continue to try to beat the teams we're supposed to beat if an injury occurs. You know what I mean? Where we're still um looking at a guaranteed spot and not a playing situation. You know what I mean? I think that's the main factor that we want to stay in. You know, even if whether we go from 1 to 5 or 6, as long as we stay in that range, I think everybody will be okay with that. You know, because the playoffs is a whole new season. But home court is a big factor for us. You know what I mean? We're a way better team in the Garden than we are on the road, and the record indicates that. Getting the home court throughout the playoffs or in parts of the playoffs is going to be essential for how far we go. You know what I mean? Finishing the number 2 seed. You know what I mean? Beating or whatever team that's the 7, whoever that might be. You know what I mean? A Bulls team, a Heat team, something like that. And then going into the second round, playing a number 3 team like the Celtics again, but this time, you know, and having the home court advantage, where now Game 7 would be in the Garden, Madison Square. That is, um, that's imperative. That's important for how far we could go, especially in the East. You know what I mean? I think a Detroit team that's still young, even though Cade Cunningham is him. You know, Bridges and OG. I think if we throw enough at him, them throw out a combination of them two at him enough, you know, to force the rest of the team to win and try to, like, you know, deny him the ball, the whole game type shit, you know, as much as you can, or vice versa, where you just only let him do his thing and let everybody else, you know, be on lockdown is a way that you could possibly beat that Detroit team. But you definitely have to have a big lineup in as well, because they got, you know, big players on their team. Pause. And they could that's going to be a formidable opponent for us. You know what I mean? But I don't see the home court against them, you know, being a factor as much it will be against Boston. You know what I mean? Playing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
Boston is our rival.
I'm completely on the same page with you there. You
Yeah,
know, like it's imperative right now that we put our fucking foot on the pedal and make this
yeah,
happen. I'm hoping that we get Brunson back as soon as possible.
hmm
But this injury has highlighted or
of
put
course.
emphasis on a problem that was already there, you know.
hmm
And I feel like now that we see it, um I can't say that I have like a solution in mind, but
hmm
it's definitely highlighted now. Everyone sees it now. And it's something that needs to be fixed, or at least attempted to be fixed. You know?
Right.
Like if we're not trying to fix this, I don't know what we're doing,
Facts.
to be real with you. You know? Like we
hmm
need to fix this defense. We need to figure out this shit. And then we got to figure out what the fuck's going on with Cat. You know,
Yeah, for real, for real. Now we
because
do,
I
we do,
want I
because
want
he's gonna be
25. I
he's a
want 25 and 12 from that fucking dude. You
or at
know,
least
like
10,
that's
you know,
my.
25 and 10, or 20 and 10, 22 and 10, like at least
But you
that,
know what
you
I'm
know, the
saying? Like
minimum.
that's my expectation. You
No,
know,
that's a
like
fact.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't expect like Jokic numbers from him. You know, like I don't expect him to go 30, 10, and 10. You
Yeah, no,
know,
no, that's fine. We just need he's gonna be vital for us to get far because of his size, because of his shooting
Fuck
ability,
yeah.
because of
Absolutely.
the mismatches he causes on offense. We know he ain't shit on defense. It's all right. You know what I mean? You know what I
We know
mean?
that.
We could get by that. But like that's another problem that I see like with us defensively. Like that's why Brunson and Cat and on the court at the same time is the reason why we give up so many points because they're both really
Giant
not the
holes.
best defenders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, having players like Bridges and OG and Mitch surrounding them, you could try to make up for and kind of cover up some of those holes. You know what I'm
Just a
saying?
proper balance.
With the length of those guys, pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you need to be able to move fast and react and slide over, especially when the ball moves from one side of the court to the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know if what's I like I didn't see the game yesterday. I wish I would have, and I haven't really been paying attention too much to the defense, which is something I need to start looking at. Whether they're playing zone or man, and what I see more in terms of um like what is a better suit for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like that's where it's gonna start. Like I don't know what this guy Woodson's plan is.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. I'm sorry, I keep on saying Woodson. Mike Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I don't
said it
know why.
before.
Yeah, I know. Mike Brown. I don't know why. I don't know what his
I
game
think. I
plan is
think. I think if you put a Sharpie around his
with the
lips.
mustache, right? He would look like Woodson, right? Or Mike Brown. I don't know what his game plan is, but if it's not going to begin to start on the defensive side of the ball, I don't really see how we could really consider ourselves to be a contender. You know what I mean? Like we'll be a playoff team without a doubt. You know what I mean? We might, get out the first round. You know what I mean? But when you have to go against these other teams like Detroit, like Boston, which, like I just said, might be the two teams you actually might have to face if you want to go to the NBA Finals.
Mhm.
Those two teams right now, clearly, and this might even be with home court, we can't beat them in a single game series right now.
Yeah.
This very moment, right now, January 18th, we cannot beat them in a 7-game series. Period. You know what I mean? As you got Mike Brown, motherfucker, you got 41. You got 41 games to figure it out. You got 41 games to figure it out. Facts. That's it. There's nothing else to really speak on but that. That's it, bro. Because you got the talent. You're not gonna tell me you don't got the talent. You got the players.
Mhm.
You got the players. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. Why, maybe you even see this change in attitude between Karl Anthony Towns and certain players and whatnot. You know what I mean? But you need to get it together.
Yep.
And you need to figure it out. So I don't know what you need to do with that, but we gonna need a change fast. That's it. That is it.
Got to hit that button as soon as possible.
Word.
You know what I mean? Fix that shit.
Facts.
Stop that shit. Fix that shit.
Facts. Word. Let me see something else real quick. Western Conference. I just want to see the standings in Western Conference. Wow. Thunder first, Spurs second, Nuggets third, T-Wolves fourth. See how fucking Spurs beat the T-Wolves last night after the game? Fucking Anthony Edwards shaves his head after Wembanyama shaved his head, but they lost. You know what I'm saying? T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards dropped 55 last night and they lost against the Spurs. Yo, this boy Wembanyama is literally unlike anything I've ever seen in the NBA. It's crazy.
Yep. That dude is something else. I think it's insane, like the way he looks, like makes other players look. It's just fucking. It's just insane to me. Like also, we had that one play that that was brought up the other day, but him and Chet basically getting the block and him still getting the dunk on it. You
Yeah.
know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like you got to
beast, bro.
see, yo, the way he takes it to the rack, the way it looks on that highlights, like his his length pause is crazy, my nigga. It's OD, bro. It's OD, bro. I don't even understand it. It's OD, bro. He's like, can't nobody fuck with him. Period.
No,
Can't nobody fuck with him. Period. What else should we do now? Because I think that's it for the NBA. You know, it's only halfway through. But I will say this before we get out: don't be surprised if we see some big moves coming soon, as we approach the deadline. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of teams that have players with expiring contracts that would probably rather get something um, for them than uh, just let them go for free. You know what I mean?
100%.
That you're not,
Absolutely.
you know, you're not going to be able to resign them, so you might as well, maybe get another player or two in return and see what happens. Um, we need some more. We need some more. We're gonna go into baseball. We need an applause for y'all.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I hit the
There we go.
wrong one.
And that's an applause for the Mets. Y'all finally made a move, man. Y'all finally made a move.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Finally made a move. Bo Bichette signed. I thought it was like 3 or 4 years, 120 something million, something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
good move. I mean, the kid he's good, man. He's a good player. Especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, that's gonna be a crazy top of the lineup with Lindor, Soto, and him. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna hopefully cause some damage and put some pressure on some teams. You know what I mean? Every time that part of the lineup comes up during the game,
Hmm.
look like there's gonna be some other moves to make. You know what I mean? Crazy part is, I could actually still get Cody Bellinger too. You know what I mean? So you got him. You also got like Simeon. So it looks like you're gonna have Bichette play third base because he actually plays. He's a natural shortstop. He played second for Toronto, but it looks like you guys are gonna put him at third with Lindor at short. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be another move to make for y'all. There's still
There's
quality players
there's
out there.
yeah. You have let's go through the list real quick. We have Valdez on the Astros,
Hmm.
Cody Bellinger on the Yankees.
Yeah.
You have Suarez on the that's weird that it says D-back / Mariners. You have
I think
who
he just
else?
got traded or signed or something like that.
Yeah,
Suarez.
you have Chris Bassett on the Blue Jays. So yeah, there's some quality players on the list still. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Um
then you got also teams that, like I said, how I just mentioned, like because like the Padres might be looking to move like a Fernando Tatis, you know what I
mhm.
mean, Junior. That'd be a good move for either team, Mets or
Yeah.
Yankees, to try to also
Yeah.
pick up. You know what I mean, and along with like Cody Bellinger, you know what I mean. So like, there's still some quality free agents out there that you could possibly be able to pick up um and and improve your lineup, because
Yeah,
that's
I
what it
mean,
is.
he's definitely a top name on that list. And I mean, I'm going through the list now. It seems like we have just under the radar, just not as big of names, you know. We ended up taking getting Devin Williams
Yeah,
from
Devin
you
Williams as well.
guys.
Yeah.
We ended up signing Jorge Polanco
Uh-huh.
from the Mariners for 2 years, 40 million. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of We also got Luke Weaver from you
Weaver from the
guys
Yankees. Yep.
for 2 years, 22
Uh-huh.
million. What's up with
Yeah.
these Yankees jumping over the Mets, bro?
It's a lot. I guess maybe it's a lot calmer in Queens than the Bronx. Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Maybe
They're
maybe
like,
Queens a
yo,
little calmer.
I want to grow my fucking beard out, bro. Like,
No, we allow that now. We allow the beard.
yeah,
Yeah, we allow the beard. We changed that. We changed that. Yeah, you can have the beard as long as it's neat, but you can have it.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. I thought that was shit was like strict.
Yeah, no, they changed it recently within like the last year or two. They changed it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Good for you
Thanks.
guys.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, we're trying to open up a little bit. But and then we have the Yankees and we have the Yankees still not doing shit. We have the Yankees still not doing shit. You know what I mean? And hopefully we could possibly get something done. You know what I mean? Like
Now,
Bellinger
how do
or
you
Tatis.
how do you feel like the season's gonna be looking now? Do you think it's gonna be you think it's gonna be tanking youth, or do you think it's another playoff push?
Who for the Yankees?
Yeah.
Every year is a playoff push. Let's not call this let's call the spade of what it is. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
do enough in the regular season um to make the playoffs every year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're whatever their swing velocity is or analytics does where they're, constantly leading the league in like home runs and runs scored and things like that. You know what I mean? Or in those one of those top scoring teams where they do that, and do enough to, to make the playoffs. But the difference that we see now from the Yankees past that we've seen like when we was like younger as kids and whatnot is that Hal doesn't really spend the way George did. You know what I mean? George had no problem spending money to get the big name. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that's why, so many teams hated us. That's why so many teams called us the evil empire or saying that we was buying championships or whatnot. But like a lot of that was trades though. You know what I mean? And a
Mhm.
lot of that was just like, you know, not necessarily us going out to get them, but them actually just wanting to come to us. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, yeah, we went out to get Roger Clemens and whatnot, but other players came to us. We got other players in trades. You know what I mean? Not every player that we got that made a difference was some free agent big name signing. You know what I mean? We traded for like a David Justice. You know what I mean? We traded for other players in the middle of the season. That took us over the hump. You know what I mean? And we're able to hold our spot down with those moves. But I think they're going to continue to be that. But hopefully, Hal will start getting deeper into the pocket to start putting an actual championship contender and not just a playoff contender. You know what I mean?
Word.
Because the expectation of Yankee fans is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you even how other teams could be mad will say like, bro, you guys just made the playoffs 10 years in a row, but it's like, so what? You know what I mean? It's like and we did nothing. And in those 10 years we went to one World Series. You know what I mean? So you made the playoffs for 10 years in a row and you only went to one championship? That's trash. You know what I mean? I think that's any team. You know what I mean? To have all those years in a row of going to the fucking playoffs, but actually not even making it to the chip, that's doo doo. That's doo doo. Straight up. So I think Yankees gotta now start spending to the expectation of their fans, and I think that's what they're lacking right now. They're spending just
Yeah.
enough, and like someone like a Michael K is say, oh, but their roster is 300 million. Their roster is over $300 million. The Yankees and the Mets or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it is. But look at what the Dodgers have done. Like you guys was going after Kyle Tucker before he signed with the Dodgers. You guys made like a preliminary offer to sign him to a deal. You know what I mean? And Dodgers came right in and said, "Oh, here, we'll give you this amount of money, 60 million a year. 4 years, 240 million." Like there's no way that guy was worth 60 million a year. You know what I mean? So when you look at the Mets and say they missed out on the deal, it's like, all right, I understand you want him to spend, but not like that. Like that dude is not worth that much. But like now the
Yeah.
Dodgers, who already have a stock team, already have a stack lineup, like have been able to do so much with this deferred money for Otani. You know what I mean? It's like with this with it, which is either well within the rules. It's like two things either got to happen. It's like either every team is able to like forcibly have a deferred player money. You know what I mean? Where you could actually have a player that you signed, but now you don't have to pay them their money until after their contract, and they just get like a league minimum 2 to 5 million. You know what I mean? Where now you like um basically pushing money that you have to spend later on so that you actually have money right now to spend
Yeah.
on something else so that now you could generate more profit for the shit you got to do later on, which if they're smart they probably have their money, a large amount of money in like a fucking account where it's just going to gain interest and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, so that by the time comes when they need to fucking pay it's going to be already right there in account, you know what I mean, which is like brilliant. You know what I mean? This is what people do with like fucking with their money all the time, like in fucking CD accounts where you can't fucking take the money out. You know what I mean? But that's basically what they do. That's what they're doing in the Dodgers, and that's what allowed them to basically have this team that they have right now. But like, like we're not really seeing that nowhere else. You know what I mean? And the fact that
Yeah.
now they just won 2 World Series in a row, still getting big name free agents. It doesn't look like they're gonna lose anytime soon. It's basically the
I
Dodgers
mean,
and then the rest of the
the
major
bag,
league.
the bag will catch up to them eventually. You know, like they're doing this, and like you said, like you might say deferred. I mean, that's still that's a light stretch. You know what I mean? Like meaning his money is not going to get larger. Like a stretch would basically mean like, hey, we're not going to pay you whatever, but it's going to double or it's going to increase slightly in 10 years or whatever. We'll pay you down
No,
the
no, no,
line.
no, no, no.
No,
I'm not
no,
saying that.
I no,
Um,
I understand, but I'm saying that because of that though, the money that will add up later down the line. So, 3 years down the line, he'll eat up a large portion of the actual cap on the team,
mhm.
and they'll have to pay for it and cap luxury and all that other shit,
No,
you
but that's
know.
the thing though. Like, it's luxury cap, but there's no cap at all. You know what I mean? There's no real cap in baseball. Like you
No,
could
I know
have,
that, but they're
you know what I
going
mean?
into like like a crazy
Tax
bracket
bracket,
on it
you know,
yeah.
tax, yeah. Money that they would have to bring back. You know what I'm saying? Pay
Yeah.
back. But I mean, a lot of teams don't care. I mean, it looks like they don't really care. You know what I'm saying? As long as they're continuously gonna win the World Series or be in it. You know what I mean? Like, why would you care?
Yeah, no,
So
100%, 100%. But I'm saying in general, it will affect them down the line. Like you're doing this now to say, hey, this is a win now philosophy. At least with that, like gives you the
mhm,
the space. If you're talking about deferred money, they won't have the space down the line.
mhm,
So they won't have that luxury of that. They won't basically be as stacked, moving
mhm.
forward, in a couple years from now.
No, I get it. No, I get it. All right.
How does it feel
Well,
as a Yankee fan to be dealing with the next version of the Yankees?
I mean, it's in the rule. That's why I feel like it's not really a big deal, but it's gonna affect the game. You know what I mean? It's gonna affect the game if you already know the outcome before the season starts. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's kind
Yeah.
of like those that run with Cleveland and Golden State. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're
Where you
like,
already
yeah.
knew we already knew what was gonna happen. Like we seen the whole, regular season and everything like that, but it was clear that
Hmm.
these were the two best teams respectfully and that they'll be seeing
Tune
each
out
other.
and then tune in at the end.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think that's what the Dodgers have created, at least in my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like it's bad for baseball because like you want parity. You want the parity that the NFL has. You want to see like a team in like Chicago and Jacksonville that were at the bottom, not even in the playoffs last year, now hosting home playoff games. You know what I mean? That turnaround. You know what I mean? Where before the season started, there was no way you probably thought either of them was going to be even in the playoffs, let alone like the 2 seed and the 4 seed, you know, the 3 seed respectfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's what, you know, that's what the baseball is going to be lacking. You know, so we see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll, you know, maybe it'll just put more eyes because people want to see all this greatness in the Dodgers team. You know what I mean? All at once. You know what I mean? Of all of
Word.
these top players, you know, being over there playing day in and day out. You know,
The
but
rise of the Colorado Rockies.
maybe they will be, but I don't know. But we'll see what happens. And the Yankees, like I don't got much to say about them. We'll see. You know, we'll see if a move is made or a player gets signed. You know, if it happens, good. But I'm not betting on it. I don't know for sure yet.
All right.
Word up. You got anything else?
No, I got nothing else.
Word.
How about you? You got anything else? It's game just started, correct?
Uh-huh. No, it starts at it starts at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. This game just started. Oh. Uh-oh. Hello. I guess I lost Jones. Let me see if I can get him back on. Jones, are you here? All right. Well, I guess that's it, everybody. Everyone, have a beautiful night. Or better yet, a beautiful day. It's only about 3 o'clock over here. And we out.